Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Those Two Geeks. My name's Alex. I am joined today by Anco, who you may know from Ready Nerd Go, or also the other time he appeared on the show to talk about wrestling, which is what we're doing today.
Hello, folks.
We are joined by Cody, who's just some guy we grabbed who thought he sounded interesting.
The thing I find amazing is that you apparently can't count because there's three geeks here, and I don't know
Yeah,
if that's like a UK two or just
no,
like a difference
see,
between imperial metric.
yeah. Well, the thing is that I can't count. I also
Okay.
can't tell my left from my right.
Okay.
But the name of the show is also Those Two Geeks, and one of those two geeks isn't here. Joe is still not able to make it back, so I'm stuck with you two.
Feel the
Uh,
love.
Amazing.
yeah, it's great. We recently have finally convinced Anco. So Cody is a big wrestling fan. You're more of a WWE person. I'm obviously more of an AEW person.
Hmm.
We are finally convincing Anko to start watching. So, folks, if you recall my journey into the wonderful world of wrestling, Anko is almost starting to follow the same path. And Cody has been making him watch WWE pay per views or PLEs or whatever the fuck they are for the last little while. And I finally convinced him by way of saying, hey, watch this to watch Forbidden Door. This is obviously the pay per view happened a little while ago, but he watched it somewhat more recently. And for shits and giggles, I thought it'd be fun to record an episode where we talk about that, as opposed to me rambling by myself for a little while. So, how are you? I guess we'll get going. Before we do that, this is a really awkward podcast to get going because no one really knows what to say.
Well, I mean, I was at a party late last night, so I'm feeling pretty knackered. Which, for the record, for anybody who doesn't know me, that is a sentence I will never usually say. I generally hate parties, but I went out to this one, and it wasn't bad. But I am bloody exhausted.
I love the fact you're using some really fantastically British words, and it makes me
I
feel so at home.
I grew up on British comedy. It's part of my lexicon.
Yeah, that's a very Canadian thing.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
I
And just
mean,
a
and
little bit of historical for the reference. You know, Cody, when you said that Cody's the one who got me back into it. For the people who remember me on here last time, Cody was the one who convinced me to come back in the first place and try it, which is what got me on the last time I was on this show.
Which is also why we wanted to close the circle. I wanted to close the circle and bring Cody into chat about this because I thought it would give an interesting perspective of, again, we're both fans of different sides of things. And to preface whatever we're about to say, because I'm sure we're going to get into an argument about which one is better, Cody and I have agreed. We were chatting about this before the show. We're both happy the other promotion exists. Like more wrestling companies is not a bad thing. I just happen to prefer one, and he happens to prefer the other.
yeah,
We'll
like
stay,
that's the thing is like, if I can step in here,
please.
it's like I'm a giant WWE fan. Like if
Yep.
unprompted, I will talk about it for hours.
Yep.
Because I enjoy it greatly. I love the spectacle, the pageantry, all of it. I love that AEW is there though. Like that's good. It makes a competitive market. It makes it so that the various talent, because at the end of the day, like it should be about the wrestlers. It makes it so that they have places to work, ability to negotiate better, all that jazz, which I love for the industry that, classically doesn't treat people very well. Um, and then at the same time, different people looking for different markets who want different things in their wrestling get that. So people who don't necessarily want all like the glitz and glam and, overproducedness of WWE can, look at AEW or Ring of Honor or, you know, GCW, any of these other
New
like smaller
Japan, right?
promotions.
Yeah, like there's a lot of different stuff out there for other people, and while we've now established that we're very kumbaya and happy and all of that, I
Keep the knives
really,
out.
yeah, no, well, not even that. I really want to. I've been dying to ask Anko about this since I made you watch this, uh,
Mm.
and you gave me some thoughts. So, in general, what did you think of Forbidden Door? And again, folks, this is Forbidden Door from London. It was at the O2 Arena. I don't
Yeah.
remember exactly when it was, but
Forbidden Door 2025.
Yeah.
For reference.
yeah, I said
So-
Forbidden Door too. I apologize.
I would say my general opinion, because Cody came over afterwards and we watched WWE promotion. Don't ask me which one.
We watched Clash in Paris 2025.
Okay. We watched that pretty much immediately after I was done of the one you sent me. So I had
Jesus, that would have been a lot of wrestling in one day.
Oh my god, I
Holy
was.
fuck.
See, this is how you know I like you, because I committed to this.
I didn't realize that's what you were doing. That's what you two were doing that day when I sent it over. So
Yep.
Yeah.
anyway, so I didn't mean to cut you off or
Yeah,
react.
so
to the-
I had the very direct back-to-back comparison to draw on, which was good for my frame of references. And in general, I will say, for the people who remember last time I was here, the WWE promotion, when I first came back to it, and I say came back, I still only watch it when Cody's around. When I first came back to it, it was when they first came over to Netflix and they had their big "we're on Netflix now" extravaganza. And frankly, the matches themselves were pretty good. I hated the actual event itself. It was miserable for me on multiple levels. Cody made it entertaining for me. The thing itself, wasn't a fan. I will say they've gotten a lot better. Having said that, I got to admit I do prefer Alex's, just because like Cody had mentioned, it's like it's the lack of polish, like the lack of like high gloss, fireworks and everything being perfect.
So it's
That
more of
appealed to
a,
me.
it's more like for me. It feel. I mean, with the caveat that they're both run by the guy that runs AEW is a billionaire, but it is also his toy, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's his money that's going
It's
into it.
his
He doesn't
money,
have to
right?
deal with sponsors or anything
Ex-
else.
Exactly. Like he has decent deals, so he's like, I have the deals now. We can pay us or do a bit more and have a bit more consistency. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I find AEW is more of a punk rock style thing where if things go wrong, they're like, "Hey, did anyone get hurt?" No. Oh well, we'll roll with it.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love the fact that it's more wrestling based because that's what I watched wrestling for. Is the wrestling based thing. Now I'm sure if I had have stuck with WWE for a lot longer than I did when I was a kid, I'd be in the same boat as Cody. Probably would prefer WWE. I realize it's an exposure thing.
Well, I will say for me though, like I haven't been watching WWE since I was a kid. Like I watched like a little bit here and there, like growing up, whatever. I'd catch it on TV, but it was never a thing. It was a thing I knew it was there, but it was never a thing I watched because I didn't have cable. I didn't have the appropriate channels to see it. I didn't start watching wrestling until was it 2025? So probably about 14 years ago. Like Edge's retirement on Monday Night Raw after he lost or after he won the title and then had to retire immediately the next day because his neck was screwed. That was the first episode of Monday Night Raw I deliberately tuned into, and that's
Oh,
when I started
interesting.
watching regularly.
I don't think I knew that. I just assumed that you've been watching.
No,
As
I'm
a
a very like recent fan.
I
So and
I
the thing is,
love that you consider 14 years recent.
Right.
but
And
the
to,
thing
to,
is though,
to be to
Go
be
ahead.
clear, Cody is younger than I am, and he considers 14 years recent.
Well, yeah, but like it's one of those things though. Is like if you look at it this way though, it's like I missed, the
Yeah.
new generation. I missed the Attitude Era. I missed the air quotes ruthless aggression era, and I tuned in the peak slump downfall of WWE's bubble
I'm actually impressed that you stuck with it because I've had
that
a lot of
allowed AEW to start.
yeah.
Like
Don't get
that's the thing. Like in their absolute worst like doldrums is when I tuned in. I'm like, this is great. And I was thinking about this for an explanation, and
yeah.
it's wrestling tickles the part of my brain that's like that I get with like reading like Malazan Book of the Fallen series, which or like getting into Warhammer lore or things like that. It tickles the part of my brain that wants this grand epic storytelling with like multiple characters, villains, heroes, like the mythology, the history, all that jazz. It tickles all that and then presents it to me with bright flashing colors, pretty lights, objectively across the board attractive people that are, enjoyable to watch do physical things, and then they resolve all their conflicts with violence. And like it just ticks all these boxes that set all my dopamine off.
I do find that when you're watching a good wrestling show, it assuming you're into it, if you're not into wrestling at all, then A, I'm surprised you're still listening to this show, and B, you're not gonna get that same fix. But a really good wrestling show, even if you have no context or background to some of the stories and characters, can still be really enjoyable. And it took me a long time to realize that the wrestlers are playing characters versus just amped up versions of themselves, which obviously can still be the same thing, but for the most part, it's a character that's being played and not directly who they are.
Well, it's one of those things. It's like the best characters in wrestling are always like this is the classic quote. It's people who take their own traits and dial it up to 11 because it's
Yeah.
believable. They can get into it. They can, roll with it because it is what it is. Um, and yeah, and like on that point, like, as of time of recording, Friday night was when AJ Lee came back for the first time in 10 years since stepping away from wrestling. And I watched it live and was literally jumping up and down in my apartment, squealing with glee when Light It Up hit and she came skipping down to the ring. Because I was a massive AJ Lee fan. She was possibly the best women's wrestler on WWE at the time when I started watching. And I watched, through the whole summer of Punk, everything with him leaving the company, and then with her eventually stepping away because there was issues with, her husband and the company and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And just watching everything get to the point now that she came back, it just, God, it's just the best. It's like crack.
And that's fair. So
I'm not endorsing
before
crack use, by the way. Just
I
disclaimer.
well, I am well aware, and if yeah, um, I'm gonna go back to where we were supposed to be going with Anco, because I'm again. So you said you enjoyed the wrestling part of it. Did you find that with no context whatsoever, the matches and the stories behind said matches at least had some kind of, oh, that almost makes sense to me? Either you're really thinking hard or your mic's gone on mute again. Cody.
Oh, he's typing in chat. His headset just kicked the bucket. Keep talking without me. Trying to find another pair.
Fair enough. I actually don't know where the chat is.
It's on the right hand side of the screen, my
Yeah,
guy.
I've minimized everything on that side because I had other stuff open.
Testing,
Like there,
testing.
What
there
a
you go.
host.
You're
There
back.
he is.
There we go.
If I've never had to use a thing, I genuinely don't worry about it.
My God.
And 9 times out of 10, when Anko stuff goes down, it's oh hey, I'm down, and he's texting me. Or if Joe's stuff goes down and we're messaging on Messenger, I've never actually thought about the in chat or the
What kind
in
of
studio
mouse
chat.
operation is this?
So, for the record, I could
You
I
know
could
me.
still
You
hear
should
you
know how
guys.
bad it is. Sorry, we're knives are coming out.
It'll happen. This is a different headset. How clearly can you guys hear me?
Oh yeah, you're good.
You're fine. You're good.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, to answer your question, because I could still hear you guys.
Okay.
A lot of it, I had no fucking idea what was going on.
Yeah. Now you did. I remember at one point you were messaging me about what is up with the gummy bears.
Yeah.
And I have been dying to explain this to you. The Young Bucks were up until about a month and a half ago. So the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega were 3 of the 4 wrestlers who helped found the company. The other one is in WWE now, Cody Rhodes.
Mm.
And Kenny Omega he was out with diverticulitis and had the surgery and everything. If you didn't pick that up from the show, I'm shocked because they mention it every 3 minutes.
Hey, to hear Kenny's
It-
got bad guts.
Yeah, the funny thing is he's actually genuinely impressive. And they try to make sure that, hey, this guy isn't what he used to be. He used to be fantastic, and also he's really tough. He can do this, be that as it may. But so the Young Bucks for a time were playing smarmy, like executive vice president heels, and at a recent match they lost the title in a if Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay beat the Young Bucks and they become the new EVPs. If they lose, then they won't challenge for the world title for over a year or whatever. Um, so ever since the Young Bucks lost, production has been fucking with them so bad. It's why their video came out and had Mr. Instant Replay, and the fireworks were off, and they had gummy bears. At recent matches, the announcers like, and their opponents already in the ring, these guys, and they're like, what the hell, man? And it's one of my favorite things because you know that they're laughing at themselves. They're coming up with half of this, if not more, because they want to be able to laugh at themselves. They said, hey, if we can't laugh at ourselves, and this isn't, we're not in the right business. And they have been leaning into this so hard. It is absolutely fantastic. Like anytime they come out, their music's off. They may not have music. The lights might go on and off. I don't think they know what's happening half the time because that's what's so brilliant about it.
Like I didn't realize it was a bit at first. Like when the like when the entrances were going on, like everybody has their entrances and they come in and then they're just getting fucked with, and it's like, okay, like I don't. This is my first time watching this promotion. Like I don't know if, like, is this a genuine fuck up or is this like
Yeah. And so the Young Bucks are they are one of the best tag team wrestlers or tag teams around. They're really athletic. A lot of people don't like their matches because they are athletic and they hit certain things very frequently.
Mm.
And I understand that. Um, they work. They are brilliant as cocky, like heel bad guy type characters. I've never connected with them as well as when they're trying to be the baby face, the good guy. But I can still not connect with them and still really appreciate their athleticism. And what they're doing now is it's absolutely brilliant. Like I absolutely love the fact that they're getting announced as these guys, or they don't even get an entrance because they're like, we don't give a shit, just go in the ring, you don't get an entrance today.
Yeah.
Which is typically what you do when you know if there's a wrestler coming in with an entrance and someone already in the ring, well, you know who's going to win and you know how quickly they're going to win. Like it's not going to be a long match, and that's part of the fun of what they're leaning into.
And I will say, like, it's as much as I like to mock the announcers in WWE, I think I did generally prefer them just in their level of I guess smooth commentary is the
Yeah.
better way I can
WWE
describe
has
it.
a very, very polished desk.
Mm-hmm.
Like they know
Yeah.
exactly what they're doing and how they're doing it.
Yeah. So, and one of the best AEW commentators is Nigel McGuinness, and he actually was on the show wrestling, so you didn't get to experience him.
Okay.
And what's brilliant about that is Nigel McGuinness in the show hates Bryan Danielson.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely hates him. He will do anything he can to talk like negatively about him. Like never significant, but it's always like minor digs here and there. So when Danielson was on commentary, which was his first real kick at the can for a long show, was him being on commentary there. Him being nice to Nigel McGuinness was hilariously unpetty of him, which I really enjoyed.
All right, because I remember, I think, was it the first net match where I still am not going to remember anybody's names, although
No,
you will know who I'm talking about when
yeah,
I'm talking about them. Like I think it was the first match with like the Pearl Necklace dude, and like he had his own commentator join the group and like
Don.
talking him up. That was both entertaining and odd,
Yeah, so Don.
and just
I don't know. I don't know if that would have been the first match. It would have been the with. Oh yeah, so Kyle Fletcher and
that's the
I
name.
don't know the other guy's name. So Don Callis is people hate him. It is like you can't get that level of hatred unless you're really good at what you do, and he's really good at what he does. So he is
He plays a
deliberately
scumbag very well.
Hmm.
like his announcement of when he does his he'll sometimes announce his own family members in, and one of them is Hechicero. Don Callis can't speak Spanish. Like maybe he can, but the Don Callis character has the worst Spanish accent, and he plays it up so bad. He's like, "Oh, this is like pulling teeth when I'm listening to you." And he will often join the commentary to talk up his guys, and it's his bit, right? It's what he
Yeah.
does.
Like is Fletcher's like like person? What's the proper term for it? Like their character in the ring. Like what's the proper
Yeah, no
term for that? Like
character.
persona
Yeah,
or like
persona. Yeah,
it's like is he supposed to be that homoerotic?
honestly,
Because
so he Fletcher is, as far as I'm what he's dating a lady called Sky Blue.
mm,
But if you follow him on social media, he is constantly flirting with either Konosuke Takeshita, who came into the ring. He was the Japanese guy with the long black hair
yes,
and a black tank top. So he came in. He's constantly flirting with him, despite both of them either being married or having a partner. So I feel like it's deliberate, and yet that's just who Fletcher is. Like that's just the kind of guy he is. He's
okay.
like
Because
if you look at pictures of him from like 4 or 5 years ago to now, it's night and day in the difference.
Oh, he's
because
gotten
like
jacked.
when I
Yeah.
was when I was watching in my prime WWE era, which for me was like the era before and then through the Attitude Era.
Mm-hmm.
That was my prime WWE experience. And like if there was anything gay in there at all, it was like, not very well portrayed to be put politely. And
To
It
so
hasn't aged well.
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
there's
And
there's
and watching him I was like, I'm not even sure like no offense. I'm not even sure like straight people would pick up on some of this stuff.
probably not, probably not.
And it's like that's like that's quality right there. Like, the guy talks
There's
about, oh yeah, he's like, I like my men bred for fighting, and it's like, okay, no, that has to be deliberate. You do not pause like that.
Why are you
yeah,
taking a breath? Why is he taking a breath?
there's
It's like,
AEW are notoriously more accepting.
and it's like,
Like
I
they
appreciate it, but I was not expecting this.
there's one of my favorite moments watching was there's a guy called Anthony Bowens, and he wears rainbow trunks. Like he's married, he doesn't hide anything, but it's not part of his gimmick in the ring.
Yeah.
And at one point, this girl is flirting with him, and like in the ring on the microphone, he's like, "Lady, I'm gay," and the crowd start chanting, "He is gay, he is gay," like in support, and you can just see it break. Like he just doesn't know what to do with it. Like they're happy for him, and they're doing it in a like, "Lady, you're an idiot." Like he's
Yeah.
wearing rainbow gear, and you can just see him stop there for a moment, and he's like, "Holy shit!" And now his gimmick, he's coming back, and he's calling himself the Pride of Pro Wrestling, which is
I
which
didn't
is
know that.
fantastic. Yeah, it's he's his nickname. He's calling him the nickname is the Pride of Pro Wrestling, but he's trying to get the five tool player over, which is some baseball reference, and
Yeah,
it's not working.
I've been
And
hearing about that one for a little bit.
but the funny thing is, it's not working, so he's starting to turn heel, and that is working for him. Like him going on like a heel run is fantastic, and I think what had happened is Max Caster, his ex tag team partner, is playing a smarmy douche who's claiming to be the best wrestler alive, and you've got to survive 5 minutes in the ring with the best wrestler alive. He hasn't won yet. There's been dozens of these open challenges, and his whole thing is you come in the ring, he does a chant, it's deliberately obnoxious, and yet for some reason people love it. And you're like, is he actually getting this over? Are people actually enjoying this? What the fuck? So now all of a sudden, I think the plan was to make him the bad guy and Bowen's the good guy. They're flipping it, and it's working so well. Like both of them are getting a big bump from it. But that's neither here nor there because they weren't actually on this show.
No.
So
I definitely would have remembered that.
yeah, 100%. So in terms of the, I mean, bearing in mind you watched like 15 hours of wrestling in one day.
Yeah, my brain was not functioning well at the end of it.
No, I can't imagine it would be as well. I find myself, like Cody and I have had this conversation before, like 5 matches on a card isn't enough for me to feel like I got my money's worth. And yet at the same time, anything over 4.5 hours just seems like I need a break. I need to go outside and touch the grass in the middle of this because this is a long show.
Yep.
In terms of, I think you may have answered this, in terms of pure entertainment spectacle, um, and assuming you would have paid the same for Clash at the Cat, or is it Clash at Paris you watched? And
Clash of Paris. Yep.
and the other one, like which one would you have been happier spending the money for?
Uh, honestly, the one you sent me. If for nothing else, the ratio of actual, matches to random promotion stuff was
Hmm.
nice. 'Cause you know me. I'm not much for like logos and corporate sponsorships and all that
Branding.
stuff. Like all of that just turns me off more than anything else. And WWE, they're making their money. They're doing what they're doing. It's working out well for them. They are, and pretty much always have been, very corporate in like how they do everything. And like, they have their, all of the sponsorships plastered all over the mat. And people are now coming out in sponsorship costumes, which I'm very much not a fan of.
I
I
didn't
Because
will
like,
know.
say
I
all
don't
of
think I
that is
knew that.
very new.
yeah. And like it's, I'm coming back, or like right when that stuff is kind of seems to be like flooding WWE, and it's really kind of a turnoff for me, just because like I like I'm I'm watching to see the wrestlers in their gimmicks, because I love seeing what gimmicks people have, and there's some truly great ones going on in both promotions right now. But like when I'm watching to like see uh talent's gimmick and see like what they have for it, I don't want to see them come out in like uh Clash of Clans outfit, because
That
like
one was real bad. Like that.
that one
Like
was
there's
so
there's
bad.
no there's no one defending that. I want to be clear.
And like who was the one that came out in the Doom outfit, in the one that we watched last time?
Oh, yeah,
Because that one wasn't as bad. Like that one's like, hey, the
Drew McIntyre.
costume. Yes, like the costuming was definitely a lot better than the first one, but it was still like, it's like I'm not watching this because I want to see dude dressed up like advertisement. I'm watching this because I want to see the testosterone soap opera. I want to see the characters in their glory, and when I'm watching you come out as a walking sponsorship deal, that does nothing for me.
So genuine question, Cody. How does the Doom character play into Drew's gimmick? Did it at all?
It was I no it like they're both war. Well, okay, it's one of those things. The argument is like, well, they're both warriors. But what I think it more is it's a sponsorship deal, and he has a sword as part of his entrance, and it's a whole thing. It was when Doom Dark Ages came out, like the
Yeah,
prequel one that's medieval, and
oh,
so I
medieval-ish.
guarantee it was very much just they approached him with like, here's a bag of money, dress one of your dudes up in Doom gear, and Drew was the most obvious choice for it, given the representation of the various characters on the show. The only other one that would work would be like the Viking Raiders, but until very recently, they've been off TV for a little bit just because they didn't have anything for them.
Yeah.
And if you're going to get a sponsorship like that, you want a big name, and Drew is a big name.
Hmm.
Fair. Yeah. Okay. I'd heard that beyond the other what was it, Clash of Clans one that you had mentioned. I'd heard that there was another one. I didn't realize it was Drew McIntyre coming out in a Doom outfit.
Yeah.
I I was on the fence thinking like, oh hey, that could work. It might not work, but it obviously wasn't ideal.
Like it was definitely better than the first one.
Now the flip side to
But
this is
still.
I've seen like I don't know if you recognize or notice Will Ospreay when he came to ring in Forbidden Door. He was the English guy who at the very end had his head stomped between chairs.
Oh,
Everyone
yeah.
was gross.
Yeah. He came in, I think it may not have been this one, but he's come in wearing like Punisher inspired gear or Assassin's Creed gear because he is a massive Assassin's Creed fan. Like there's tattoos on his arm of it.
And he
Oh
is
yeah,
the
and
aerial
like
assassin.
Yeah,
and like
it.
one of the wrestlers came out in pretty much identical Mr. Terrific gear.
Yeah, Swerve Strickland
Yeah,
is
but that I mean, and it could just be me coming in blind and not, coming in with no blind, but those feel a lot less like here's our sponsorship and more like the wrestler just going, hey, you know what? I fucking love this.
that, and for Osprey especially, that's what it is. Like Swerve has come out in Predator gear before, like clearly wearing Predator inspired tights and everything, and there was no reason for that. Like he does that. Like they're both nerds. Um, the the interesting thing is I don't know if this was discussed in the show, but both of those guys were scheduled to be out for injury for a long time, which is why they were spectacularly taken out after their matches.
Yeah, it was alluded to, but it's one of those things that, I'm never really sure.
Yeah,
Like, it's like, is this part of the show? Is this part of,
it,
real life that they're accounting for in the show?
yeah.
Like,
Swerve has been wrestling with a torn meniscus in his knee for 5 years, and he's fine. He's like, maybe I should get this fixed.
Yeah.
well,
Um,
speaking of, in the Paris show that we watched, what's his name? The dude leaving to film the movie.
Roman
Roman Reigns.
Reigns.
Roman Reigns. They did, this ridiculously over the top, which
beatdown.
I
Yeah.
appreciated. Beat down on him. Like, it was so obnoxiously over the top that it was like, okay, this is winning me over just because of how stupid it is.
Yeah,
Look, you don't want to take 15 tsunamis from Bronson Reed.
I wouldn't want to take one.
Oh my
let
god,
alone
that man's
15.
spear is fucking amazing.
No, that's Braun Breaker. Bronson Reed's
Okay, Braun Breaker's
the tribal thief.
Yeah. The ironic thing is, that's one of the things I've always thought about is wrestlers very similar names, especially in the same, I say area of the card, as in they're both, to me, not watching it, upper mid card. Like they're not quite there yet, but they're both in the same sphere. Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker can be very confusing names, especially when both of their gimmicks are, I'm gonna fuck you up, and you're not gonna be able to do anything about it.
True.
It's like there's plenty of people that I've seen do like high rope maneuvers, like really insane like flips and stuff. I don't think I've ever seen somebody launch themselves that far in a spear running down a ramp.
He goes like 4.5 feet
You
horizontally.
You can't convince me that Bron Breakker isn't someone playing a video game on easy mode. Like,
right?
The guy is fast, and how, I don't know if you watch this in the Royal Rumble. He hit a YouTuber with a spear as fast as he could.
I showed him. No,
we watched it at the shop. Yeah,
spear.
I don't know how he didn't tear that man in half, because that man is not a wrestler. Like he absolutely annihilated him.
No, he
And
can't
yet to do that level of speed and not actually kill the man is impressive in and of itself.
I'm sure, like I acknowledge that wrestling moves can hurt, and a lot of the time, the wrestlers, they're obviously not trying to kill you, but they acknowledge, hey, this may hurt when you land on jumping off the top of a cage under tables. This might hurt a little bit, but I'll protect you as much as I can.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, like, how did he not like shatter ribs when he hit him? Like, he clearly knows how to do the spear, make it look devastating, and not actually destroy someone in the process.
But the reason I'm bringing it up is because with the Roman Reigns beatdown, there's a part where they're running out the stretcher because he's all beat up and he needs to be taken out, and like they're trying to strap him into the stretcher, and it's just like I'm looking at this and it's like, hey, clearly you guys didn't get anybody who actually knows how to use this thing, and if they do, then it didn't work right. Because like, when they're first strapping him down, like his entire arm is just hanging out with the rest being strapped in. It's like, okay, like the rest of this is just so stupid fun that it's like, okay, this is ridiculous and I'm enjoying it. And then I'm watching this part where they're strapping him down and one of his arms is just flopped out and they're like, all right, we're good to go. And it's like, no, this is immersion breaking for me. Like this is
the ironic thing is that actually I enjoy that more because that his arm is hanging out for dramatic effect. It's one of those things that it keeps it firmly in the fictitious realm.
but it
Like,
wasn't like it. Like they like adjusted and like undid the strap to tuck his arm back in. It's like it wasn't an on purpose thing. They just
like,
completely neglected to put his arm in the first time, and it was just kind of like, okay, that ruins the immersion for me of like,
yeah,
oh, he's actually
fair.
seriously injured and we need to get him out because like, oh shit, no, we fucked up doing this part. It's like, okay, clearly none of you actually have first aid training.
Yeah, like I don't know what Cody's thoughts are on this, but I've always preferred when it's a fake injury, it's very obviously not real, right? Like
Hmm.
you've got someone like, oh hey, he's injured, but he'll get back up and fight his way back down, as opposed to someone's coughing up their own teeth because of part of it. I'm
Yeah,
referencing the Hell in a Cell match where Undertaker put Mankind through the top of the cage and he dropped
and it
what?
wasn't supposed to break.
No, exactly. And he's coughing up his own teeth after. Like at one point, if you're later in the match, you can see one of his teeth in his nose.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh, that was brutal.
that's what I mean. Like when that happened and it kept going, I'm like, was that meant to happen? Like, is this real or is this no? It's real, and he's fucking an idiot, refusing
Yeah, it
to.
was real as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh god. And like, oh, speaking of things that make me go, ugh, like even though like I can tell it's fake, the last match in the back door, it was like, all of the teams
Mm-hmm.
with each other. And at one point, when he's got the guy sitting on the chair, he's like, mutilating his ear with the fork.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I can tell that this is
Do,
fake, but at the same time, I can't watch this because my brain is just going.
do you know what the worst part about that is? So John Moxley is the
Horrible.
guy. Yeah, he's the guy with the fork,
Yeah,
and Darby Allin is the guy with the face paint.
yeah.
Both of
Fuck,
them would
I love a good face paint.
have actually consented to do that
I believe that.
if Darby Allin wasn't already bleeding. They're both hardcore wrestlers, and Darby Allin is a trained stuntman, so he takes falls and does things that other wrestlers don't
That
do.
explains a lot.
And like it's for some reason, so he's straight edge, and yet for some reason when he bounces, he just bounces and gets back up and keeps going. Like, and it doesn't hurt him. He doesn't. He of all of the people out injured, it's rarely ever Darby Allin, which shocks me. But like I think he must have cut himself behind the head, and they're like, "Oh, hey, we can do this," and it worked really well. But John Moxley's also had his earring ripped out in the middle of a show as part of the show, so it's not unusual for them to do that sort of thing. But yeah, that was a moment, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, that made me twinge. Like that made me twinge more than was it him who got no, it was the other guy who got thrown into the barbed wire table, wasn't it?
No, that would have been Moxley going into barbed wire. Moxley goes into barbed wire.
Moxley is magnetically attracted to barbed wire.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's just like, oh god, my brain twinges when I look at that.
yeah. Like there has been shows where the referee has had to unpick the stuff from him, and he, like a champion, he doesn't. He just kind of lets it happen and tries to. Oh, it's not a big deal. And like, how is
And
that
like
not hurt?
at first, my brain was like, okay, it's like stunt wire, it's fine, whatever. And then after he gets up, he's got all these cuts in his back, and it's like, oh god.
It would be gimmicked wire to a point,
Yes,
but
but like, it is. Ugh.
Yeah, like AEW is they tend to go with the, hey, if you can do this safely and you know what you're doing, you can use like different things.
Yeah.
Like at one point Darby Allin fell slash jumped off a ladder in the ring and landed in a pane of safety glass that was across chairs. So he went through the glass and into the floor.
Yeah.
And it was safety glass, and it still fucked his back up. Like there were still stitches that he needed to have, and he got up, and that took him. It was meant to take him out of the match, and it did. But it was also one of the moments like that was just unnecessarily insane, and you didn't need to. You didn't need to do that, and yet at the
No.
same time, you know damn well he would have put that forward. Like that's not the sort of thing that anyone else would do. But he's like, I've got to be taken out, and unfortunately, it's established that I just keep going. So let's really take me out.
But yeah, no, I would definitely watch another one of their promotions. Having said that, it is the same thing with with WWE, because like Cody knows this. Like I don't go out of my way to watch WWE. If Cody's not going, hey, this Sunday's a promotion happening. You want to like hang out and watch it together? I'll be happy to do that, but it's probably not something I'm going to do on my own initiative.
No, and that's fair. And I think that when it comes to that kind of thing, especially wrestling where the stories can be intertwined and a lot harder to follow if you're not really watching it week by week. Like Cody, Cody can, I'm sure you can attest to this. The amount of times we were talking and you're like, hey, did you see this? I'm like, no, just give me the Cliffs notes. So I follow WWE more through Cody's updates than I do anything else.
Mhm.
And it's just one of those things where there's just no, if I didn't have him telling me what's going on every time I went to put on like the odd match or so, or like Joe as well does the same thing, like I wouldn't be able to follow WWE anywhere near as well as I can, despite never actually watching it. I still have a rough idea as to what's going on because people talk about it.
Yeah, no, I mean that's fair. Like I follow, like I've talked about before.
Yeah.
I follow a bunch of wrestling aggregators. So like I get a
Yeah.
lot of I get all my AEW stuff from that. Yeah, it's just how it goes.
That's just it. Like there's stuff out there for everyone, and there's a lot of it. There's a lot of it to watch. I mean, realistically, like what WWE is 2.5 hours, so 5 hours a week if you want the two main shows plus whatever else you're going to get into. What is it? NXT and it's another one.
So there's Monday Night Raw, so that's 3 hours. SmackDown is 2 hours, and NXT is an hour.
Okay, I thought there was another one too. They had
They have Main Event, which is like, I think it's essentially a YouTube. It's on like Peacock, I think exclusively almost.
Okay,
I'm not 100% sure, but
I don't know. I thought it was like the equivalent to WWE Speed or like another
they used to
developmental
have Speed.
territory.
That was a thing. They got rid of Speed.
Oh, okay, that's what I was thinking. Anyway, so you've got what 6 hours of WWE, or it's 4-ish hours of AEW a week. So you're already at 10 hours there. Plus, if you want to watch anything else, I think Ring of Honor is a couple hours a week as well.
Yeah.
New Japan, I'm not sure what their schedule is. So there, you
It's
could
also
easily
real
watch.
hard to get Nuge in North America.
Yeah, like you could. I mean, you could VPN, I'm sure, but
Yeah, but
that actually. So, genuine question. We're obviously in Canada, so we if we're watching things, we have a different option of Netflix and certain things. Did you all see the Stephanie McMahon VPN ad?
I heard about it, which I think is
The what?
absolutely hilarious.
Okay, so in the States, you only have, I think, Raw on Netflix, and you have to pay for cable or whatever to get SmackDown and all of the other stuff.
me about that.
So Stephanie McMahon on her podcast, who is a WWE branded podcast, advertised a VPN and then said, hey, and then you can go to click on, say you're in Canada or the UK, and you can get was it ad-free WWE programming,
Yeah.
and you won't miss any of it. And I was like, I was shocked when I saw it. Thought it's got to be AI, right? Like in today's day and age, anything that
No,
dumb, I'm thinking it's got to be AI.
I almost guarantee she just was given an ad read and just read
Yep. Oh, 100% is what she
it. Like
did.
that's what happened there.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure she heard something about it after the fact, but it's done now.
Yeah,
that is
you've done it now.
that is amazing. Telling people to pirate your own product.
Basically, not even pirating. It's the thing is, it's watching it legally, but you're watching it legally as if you were in a different country. So it's
you're paying for a service that lets you do that. Because I think
Yeah.
someone broke down the math, and if you wanted to actually do all of WWE legally in the States, it's going to cost you something like $1,100 a year or
Yeah,
$1,300
it was like
a year. Because it's like if you have to get Netflix. Let's say you don't have cable packages, so like you have to get cable, you have to get Peacock, you have to get ESPN. Like you have to do all these things, and this is what it works out to.
or you can pay $2 a month for a VPN, and then you can watch. Assuming you already have Netflix, you can then so it's $2 a month for VPN, averaging $10 a month for Netflix. So you're looking at 12, say round up to $15 a month. So less than $200 a year if you're going a VPN route.
Yeah.
Because we're not sponsored by anyone, I don't give a shit, folks, what you do or do not do. We're just pointing out the fact that this is the ridiculousness of the situation that they found themselves in.
Now, well,
Yeah,
speaking of the McMahons, Cody
Wow.
did get me to start watching that the document, the
Mr. McMahon
my
documentary.
brain is thank you. Yeah, we watched the first couple of episodes after the fucking wrestling, so my brain was overloaded on wrestling that day.
Holy
Like,
shit.
swear to God.
As
But
God intended.
yeah, no,
Like,
that's been something.
I can't
Yeah,
believe.
I gotta come over. We gotta do more of that.
Like, I
Yes.
can't believe, as someone who isn't that into wrestling, you spent your entire day watching it.
Well, for me, a lot of it is just genuinely interesting. I just have so many other time-consuming hobbies. I don't want to get into another one.
That's fair. And I
But
think there is something to be said, though, when you're watching it with someone, even if it's Cody.
Wow.
I mean, that is like, I enjoy
I'll remember this.
being around my friends when they're enjoying things.
Yeah.
So like it's that is a big part of it because it's fun talking to
It-
Cody about it because he
no,
is
it's
so involved and interested. And it's fascinating to just have a friend go off about their favorite topic for like 2 hours.
I actually agree. But to not be mean to Cody, I remember when I first started working at the shop and you would talk about Warhammer. I couldn't tell you what the Space Marine was from an orc, other than what I was assuming it to be based on general fantasy knowledge. But listening to the way you would talk about it and the passion you had is always fascinating and interesting.
I
So-
like cool things.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm not saying that you don't, and I understand why. If you're already hanging out, hey, we'll put this on. Great, it's interesting to watch, but you also get someone passionate about what they're doing talking about it too.
And I think honestly, I think one of the biggest reasons I probably prefer it's AEW is what it's called, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yours, yeah. I think the biggest reason I prefer that one over WWE is just because that one feels more like the WWF I grew up with.
it has more. I think because it's more of an indie mindset. Because a lot of the guys were big on the independent scene, Japan, whatever, before they went to AEW. Yeah, it's retained that despite having a lot of ex WWE stars come in. Adam Copeland, FTR, ex WWE, right? Like there's a lot of them that have worked in WWE. Some of them that never have, and despite that, it's got this fresh feeling where, hey, like Swerve Strickland was in WWE for a time, but clearly they didn't find something that worked for him, and now all of a sudden he's one of the biggest names in AEW, right? Like
And like
he's
I remember the first two matches. All I could think about for the first two matches, beyond Fletcher being shockingly homoerotic in the best way possible, all I could think of watching this, like, man, it's like when we're watching WWE, it's so obvious that like everybody is on copious amounts of gear, like steroids and stuff.
Yep.
And then watching AEW, it's like, huh, a lot of these guys just actually look like just people who go to the gym.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some level of
Oh, definitely, but
enhancement involved with a lot of them, but they
it's
don't
less
seem to be.
blatantly over the
Yeah,
top and like, you know, muscle competition
yeah.
style for every single person.
And there's a lot of, I find the crowds as well tend to be a lot more. Now, I mean, granted, in fairness, you watch two shows that were in Europe, which they tend to have more rambunctious crowds anyway.
Oh, it was
Yeah,
so
it's
much
a
nicer watching the
underutilized
in
market,
Paris
so
show
they're
Yeah,
where the crowd is actually engaging as opposed to because the very first Netflix special, the crowd was
yeah.
miserable. It was a
In
terrible crowd.
yeah.
in fairness to the crowd, though, we all watch the same show. If you're
Yes,
going,
you know,
if
I
you're
don't.
like, if
And
you're going to that to watch a wrestling show and you get an hour and a
Fellatiating
half
Netflix for
of,
half an hour.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, like, I understand why they did it, and we've spoken about this before. I understand why they did it, but that wasn't the time to do it. If you're trying to
No,
get new eyes on the product, that isn't the time or the way to do it.
no, it was so. I don't want to say slimy, but it's the word that comes to mind because it didn't feel like you were watching, you know, a wrestling. You know, it didn't feel like I was watching a testosterone soap opera, which is what I'm here for.
Yeah.
It it felt like I was watching, you know, oh hey, here's our Netflix promotion that we threw in a couple of fights to keep people engaged while they're here.
Yeah, that's fair. Now, don't like anything. I'm sure it's a lot better now than it was.
Yes, just
I ha-
from what Cody's shown me post that, and like what I've watched with Cody post that,
yeah,
it has gotten a lot better. But
good.
like for people's like first introduction to it being on that massive platform, probably the worst way they could have done it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's fair.
and like it's one of those things like WWE itself acknowledges like that was a problem show. Like
Okay.
they're aware of
Good.
the critiques and criticisms, and they've been
Good.
changing it since.
Yeah, I'm
Good.
glad, because I don't, like we said at the top of the show, I may not watch WWE. That doesn't mean I want it to fail, because more competition for wrestlers. Hey, you know what? Look at Ethan Page, who's in NXT, or Cody Rhodes in WWE now. They were good in AEW, but going to WWE has really elevated them in the best way possible. And
Oh yeah,
right, the flip side is, look at Swerve Strickland coming from WWE. He was on NXT. He was released. They didn't.
sure.
They're like, he's not great. He comes to AEW and he can walk out into a crowd now and people just go bananas for him. He's just got this aura about him now. Like, whatever he's doing now works so well for him. And there's a few people who the style of one promotion versus the other just complements what they can do so much.
Yeah.
And I think that's great. I think genuinely, I know I ragged on WWE. I think it's a good thing that it exists.
I
Yeah,
mean, it's kind of similar to reference the other podcast that me and Alex do. It's kind of like, you know, with D&D, where, you know, I love to rag on D&D and Wizards of the Coast and all of
Mhm.
that stuff, but at the same time, they are bringing a lot of new people into the hobby, and it is good having that, you know, large tent option that people have as a gateway, and some people just genuinely enjoy it the way it
And
is, and that's good, great too.
exactly, like this, and there's nothing wrong with just, oh hey, we're in the door. I really like what's right here. Great, do it.
Yeah,
Ironically
way to do
enough,
it.
that's what I did. Ironically enough, AEW got me back in the door of wrestling again, and I've just stayed there. Right, so I'm not judging anyone for anything. It's one of those things. I'm feel like at about an hour. Um, this is going to be the awkward end that this show is so well known for.
I'm glad to know it's not just ours.
Oh no, this one's even worse. It's deliberate. Cody, do you have any final thoughts before we sign off? Bearing in mind, I'm going to see you again on Wednesday anyway.
I mean, no, you generally know what I think about you on a daily basis.
I appreciate you so much.
Yeah, no, like I mean, it's funny because with Anco, so WWE for years has been chasing the mythical casual fan, right? They're the person that like when they're flipping channels, they're gonna catch sight of wrestling and be like, "Oh, this is interesting," and then be hooked for life or whatever. And like it doesn't exist because wrestling is one of those things like you either get it or you don't. It either appeals to you or does not. Like no ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah.
But it's funny because with Anco, it's like he literally is the quote unquote casual fan. Like he only watches when people around him are watching or have expressed interest in watching. Otherwise, does not give two craps about it, which is kind of fascinating.
Yeah, and like I do like when we're watching it, I am genuinely enjoying myself, and I love like digging into the bits of it. But yeah, like if I'm looking for something to do,
that's not going to be it.
Watching wrestling is never going to be my go-to.
No, and that's fine. And I think that the irony of you being the mythical casual fan who is happy to watch it if people around you are watching it and yet don't give a shit otherwise, it's a fascinating insight, which is why this recording exists. Because like I was curious what you thought. I was curious whether Cody and I would have a full-on argument on the show, and I am both happily surprised and somewhat disappointed that we didn't.
Well, no,
my ratings.
You understand that you're wrong, and it's okay.
Yeah, there we go. As we wrap it, all right. Yeah, no, you throw me off completely. But it's one of those things where I figured that you would provide the WWE aspect of things that I don't, and I feel like Anco probably has as good an idea as WWE as I do, which is why we wanted to finally sit down with you. Yeah, that's it.
Hey, thanks for watching the previous video from Graphic Policy Television. Just by watching, you help support our site. Thank you so much. Now, if you're watching these videos, you probably care about geeky things like movies, television, comic books, toys, games, video games, you name it. You can go and subscribe right now to our YouTube channel to stay in touch and catch all the new videos, or check out our website at graphicpolicy.com. There's a nice link on this end of the video. But as always, thank you for watching. Keep on rocking and keep it geeky.